Okay. Now, I did notice, I think in my last reading, that my shadow was falling onto the wall. And since I don't really film myself for personal reasons of that was kind of a hoot. I saw my big old bun like cocking up the wall up here on top, cockeyed. Anyhow, that's as close to an image of me as you're going to get, other than possibly the thumbnail. I think the thumbnail I changed to a picture, but anyway, whatever. Um, so what's at the bottom of the deck is the Nine of Imps in the reverse. And this is the Nine of Wands in other decks, which is about success in a battle, but kind of feeling like a wounded warrior. Like you've been through the steps and all the rest of that. But it's kind of a time where the battle's over. You've kind of got this wall of protection behind you, but it's also symbolic of the wall internally. In the reverse position, the Nine of Imps can be about the struggle still going on for you. So there may be issues where you still haven't quite yet come to that resolution. But know that the Nine of Imps is a successful card in the upright. So it may just be that that energy is delayed for you. Sometimes, though, we do tend to put walls around ourselves, walls around our heart, walls around our mind. We resist things. Sometimes we do add on the layers of protection. We're very guarded against other people. Be careful not to judge the future by the past or by people from your past when you do meet new people. So anyway, just a little note on that card there on the bottom. Recent past tense. Wish fulfillment. You wanted something. Something was coming in for you. You had some kind of, it looks new information. Truth, right? We also see the King of Bats. Now, the suit of bats in this deck is swords. That's air, so it could be Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius. Not necessarily, but it could be somebody who's intellect. You know, they got a sharp mind that you appreciate and respect. But somebody told you the truth in a situation, and that enabled your success in a way. Like it kind of led to you getting what you want, or maybe the air was cleared on something in a way that you liked. Example, if you were interested in somebody romantically, they came forward and told you how they felt and that they like you too. Or if it's in a business, it's that you were looking for a new job and your new supervisor called you up and said that they like what they see and they want to offer you the position. Take that as it resonates. Bats is air. Ghosts is spirit or emotion. Or it's usually some kind of a combination of the two, spirit and emotion. So, you know, again, could be either way. Could be either way, right? Over here, we have the Ten of Ghosts. That's about spiritual fulfillment and joy. And in fact, it's a natural progression from the Ten of Ghosts. From the Nine. We see the Nine, you get what you want, but this is kind of a solitary type energy, the Nine. In fact, the Nine on the bottom of the deck too, if you'll note. Let me hold that up real quick. This Nine was about one person sallying forth while the other 8 are behind him or her. Nines tend to be about isolation, but it's well grounded in that sense. Like 3 is one of the most stable energies. Like if you think Euclidean geometry, 3 points always make a plane. So it's very stable. So like if you have a 3-legged tripod or a 3-legged stool, it's always very stable, even if the legs are not of equal length. You add a 4th leg, and then sometimes it can be rocky because it's really hard to get, you know, all of those to line up, but you're also jockeying back and forth between 2 triangles. If one of those legs is short. I hope I didn't confuse people. To hell with that one. Anyway, but with the Nine of Ghosts, wish fulfilled, you did something, it was an individual enterprise, but then you moving into this current energy, which is about happy family, spiritual life. You'll notice that the kids are dressed up like trick-or-treaters and they're dancing in the foreground. And then the happy parents in the background, they're looking at all the joy. They're feeling great. They've got the ghosts are like party lights up above them, clear sky, beautiful full moon. Just really a joyful time and some celebration. But that having been said, something else is occurring as well that may be a disappointment. even though you have this desire for your wish to come true, for everything that you want, and you've got this truth that's out there that's being spoken, there still may be some kind of a loss or a disappointment. Since the Nine of Ghosts and the Ten of Ghosts are kind of what's on your mind or what you're thinking, about kind of what you hope, what may come to pass or manifest. But again, this is kind of where you're pointing your mind. It is the case that there's some sort of a disappointment. Like, this offer is in fact going to come true, because this is about basis of matter. This happened, but I'm thinking that it might not have been all that you were hoping for with the Ten of Ghosts, but there might be a little bit of a disappointment in here. Part of you're experiencing the joy that you were wishing for here may be about being careful not to take the pessimistic viewpoint, but to be optimistic and to celebrate the things that you do have. Like in this, we've got the pumpkin person here is looking at the bucket that's spilled over and the water's pouring out of it. Excuse me. But there's another bucket over here behind his leg. So it could be that you're looking at the loss and not the gain. The job is offered to you, but you were hoping to get more pay. Or maybe you didn't get the hours that you wanted, even though overall it was a good thing. This is kind of a cup is half full, half empty kind of mentality. You get to choose though, right? I can control what I think, say, and do. And that goes for every person. There may be exceptions where people have serious mental illness or mental retardation or some sort of thing, developmental delay. But in the case of the typical, I want to say the statistical normative, most of us do have some level of choice or control over how we think or what we think about the things that we perceive. We need to turn our focus away from the loss here. That's not to say that we don't process our emotions over the disappointment. We do need to do that, because there is a point too where we kind of abandon ourselves when we don't allow ourselves to acknowledge our disappointments or our hurts or our emotional pain. But once that is processed, then it's time to really to turn your attention to what is there and to have your gratitude. Always in life, it's about a balance. It's always that balance between the negative and the positive. And we need the negative in part to help us understand the things that are positive. If you didn't know disappointment and loss, you may not be in tune with what it is that you actually do want to have happen. Okay? Now, here we have the Three of Imps card. The Three of Imps in the reverse. In the upright position, this is about waiting for your ships to come in. Like, you've done the work, whatever that is for you, to put it out there. In this, it could be that your ships are delayed. They haven't launched yet. They haven't set to sea. You're still maybe gathering the material. They're still loading the ships. You're still trying to figure out, to extend this metaphor, who your shippers are going to be, right? Before you can move your merchandise forward to your new horizon, and get going on that. But it can also be about a struggle with a partnership and collaboration. For example, the one person's got this branchy leaf over here and the other two have torches. It could be that you may not be seeing eye to eye with somebody. But typically this card does indicate that there may be a delaying of something that you hope to come forward. Example, maybe you were hoping that with this job you would have everything and all the things that you wanted, including a happy relationship with somebody and all the rest, but you're finding that there may be difficulties here. For some of you, if it's about a relationship, it could be that the kids aren't as excited about your new love affair as you and your new partner are. If it's a business relationship, again, it could be that you don't get the hours you want, or maybe the pay's not exactly where you hope it will be. Something like that. But there is a sense of you waiting for what it is that you want. You're waiting to get to the 10. You're hoping for the 10 and you're waiting to get there. You're not quite there just yet. Now, in the future tense, what's on your mind or going to be on your mind is more of the disappointment focus. Okay. This is kind of about being left out in the cold on the one hand, On the other, you'll notice that this trick-or-treater, the bigger one, is holding the hand of the child, hurrying through the snow, that the kid has lost his or her trick-or-treat candy, but the bigger kid doesn't even notice and keeps dragging the kid along. The kid can't even stop and collect his candy back. So there's a sense of loss and disappointment, which kind of ties us back in with this 5 of ghosts. 5 is about transition and change, and a lot of times it's about the first part of a change, which is the death, right? A lot of times we have to clear symbolically, right? Through a metaphorical or symbolic death, we have to clear something away before we're ready to make space for the new. You know, in so doing, there's that feeling of disappointment which comes through. This card here is at the center of your reading. It's that disappointment. What's in your future on your mind is the disappointment. How long this disappointment lasts has everything to do with how you allow yourself to feel that disappointment and to process that. But once you're done with it, don't live in that energy. You have to clear it and move on. You know, how you clear it is unique to you, but it could be meditation, bubble baths, physical exercise, continuing your job search, you know, maybe starting the new job, but then, you know, moving on like that, or just working through, pushing through the discomfort until you get to the exciting part of the change, which is where you can either learn to accept what's lacking, or you can find a new way to bring yourself to the point that you have what's lacking, that your ships do in fact come in. This in the reverse implies a delay in the energy, not a no way in the energy. Okay, so remember, it's a delay, not a no way. And then also moving forward, we see 4 of bats in the reverse. And that could be about, maybe the universe is trying to tell you, you do need to meditate and find your center in your calm place and your patience place. And patience can be really, really tough for any of us, really. But this is that sense of going within and restoring yourself. And if you're not allowing yourself time and space to do that, that can negatively impact your moods and your sense of disappointment and all the rest. So be sure you make space for that. Now, the Knight of Bats in the upright can be about fast-moving energy, fast in information coming in, intellectual stuff, rapid change. But in the reverse, it can indicate a slowing or a delay to that, which, again, we're seeing this delay played out with your 3 of Imps in reverse as well. You know, you have some truth, some knowledge that's been coming in. You know something for a fact. And yet there's an unrest internally with you, Aquarius, as you're trying to wait for this thing to happen. And it just doesn't seem to be doing that. Now, for some of you, this Knight of Bats could be immature energy, backstabbing, spying type energy. Like, you know, how people spy on you on your social media and this and that. It doesn't have to be, you know, negative, criminal negative, but it can be that kind of energy if it in fact represents a person. But just based on the other cards that we're seeing here, it really kind of feels to me like you get some of what you want, but not all of what you want. And part of what you're doing in the first half of November is trying to be comfortable with the fact that it just didn't happen the way you were hoping for it to happen. Now, let me shuffle our Sacred Traveler Oracle cards, and I'll show you the box, because I know a lot of you are interested in Oracle cards and the different decks and things like that I work with. The main deck that I've been working with today is the Halloween Tarot, personal favorite. Love this deck. And if you're familiar with the Rider-Waite tarot deck, the Halloween Tarot is really, really easy to follow. But I did order the book. It comes with one of those little booklets in the box, but you can order like a larger explanation book. And it's really, really great to read it, especially about the major arcana cards, because the artist and the artistry, the imagery, all the rest of it really helps to fill out a picture for you of what's going on. But moving on to the Denise Linn, and I will read you the excerpt about whatever card comes out for us. So slowing down and slowing myself down. Oh, beautiful card. This card is Protected by Angels. You are cherished by the angels. And give me just a moment to find it in the book here. before we can find out how they want to explain that to us today. That's a wonderful message, really. You are cherished by the angels. You are blessed. Immense blessings from above are showering over your life. The angelic realm is only a thought away. Angelic intervention is available to you at all times. Simply be open and you will feel their presence. This is the time to spread your wings and soar. You are so protected and so safe. The sacred traveler wants you to know sometimes it might seem that you can't see the road ahead, but have faith that by your side are shimmering angels supporting and guiding you in unseen ways. Watch for their signs, especially in the form of feathers. There is a sacred plan for your life. Your life is guided. The angelic message is that you are going in the right direction and everything is unfolding exactly as it should be. When you receive this card, it can also mean that you are an angelic healing force for others because the light within you is so bright.